like a song. I'm brighter my day. Who'd have believed that you were part of the dream? Now it all seems like years away. You know I can't smile without you. Oh no, I can't smile without you. I can't laugh, I can't sing. I'm finding it hard to do anything, and I feel sad when you're sad. Oh no, I feel glad when you're glad. If you only knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile without you.
What's happening, people? Welcome back. Today we're talking all things Forest and Tottenham. Here's my combined 11 video, and as always I'm joined by an opposition fan. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Dan from Talk Forest TV. So without further ado, let's introduce him. Dan, firstly, how are you doing, mate?
Hey up, mate. Yeah, very well, thank you. Quite happy from the Forest winning against Utrecht, so looking forward to our game on Sunday now.
Should be good. Thank you very much. Would you like to tell people a little bit about your channel?
Yeah, so I do daily vlogs, vlogs like videos most days. Talking all things Forest. I do like a bit of like a news show. I get fans on talking about games and previews, reviews. I do a lot of shorts as well, discussing like the news that been on the show, but in a shorter form. So I do all sorts really. I do a lot of live stuff in and out as well. So a lot of content that goes out, to say the least. With the hit over 4K as well this past month or so. So quite optimistic as well.
Well
So
done. Great. That's really good. I'm delighted for you. Thank you, Dan. And of course, we've collaborated several times. So a pleasure once again. Thank you for your time. Should be a good one. If people don't know how this works, we both put together our own 2 combined 11s and how they work with. We do one with just fit players. So that means anyone that's injured or suspended for both teams are not counted. Then we do a second one where, yes, still combined 11, but this is out of all players. So it includes those that are injured. You know, for Tottenham's sake, James Maddison, Kulusevski, you know, Solanke, Takai, all these players. And for Forest, the case of, you know, Aina, plenty of others that have been out. That, you know, Dan, I'm sure, will tell you that in just a little bit. If you're new to the channel, though, please like and subscribe. If you're listening on YouTube, if you're listening via audio podcast platform, drop us a follow and a 5-star review. Thank you very, very much. So, Dan, this is your team. Would you like to read it out and talk people through it?
So I've gone for a 4-2-3-1, which is quite a common formation now. So I got Sells in goal, Spence right back, Williams left back, Milenkovic Murillo. Then I got Anderson and Gray as a midfield 2, defensive midfield, whatever you like to call them 2. Then I got a 3 of Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs White, and Kudos. And I got Richarlison up front. I know Gibbs White might be a bit of a one, especially with everything what did go off in the summer, as we both know. But yeah, that's my starting 11 that I've got. That looking at the swap, fit swap that we have got at the minute. Sells, I mean, yeah, he's not having the best of seasons, bless him. Not like he did last season. I mean, he's had a superb season, and when I look at him to the Spurs goalkeepers, I think Sells is very Sells-like for me. Like he pulled out some great saves in the games he had played. Yeah, he made some errors, but I mean, he's still that goalkeeper. I mean, you don't lose that overnight. I think the back 4, I think Jed Spence, I know he played for us in our promotion season, and I got a load of time for Spence anyway, and I'm glad that he is doing so well for Spurs. And I think the other 3 speaks quite funny for myself, being a Forest fan. I think Milenkovic Murillo, probably the best centre-half partnership we had since probably our Paul Hart days, really, when we had like Morgan Dawson or Dawson Walker and Nico Williams. Every setback he had since he came to the club, he always bounced back, and he made that left back his own. I think Elliot Anderson, he's just going from strength to strength. I mean, when he came in last season, I thought he might have been back up to Gibbs White in that number 10, but he's literally made that centre midfield its own, especially in terms of that how he has played and how he is doing. I think Archie Gray, I think to say that he played everywhere for Spurs this last 2 seasons, I think with the Fritz one, I think it was either going to be him and Sanjari, but I think Gray probably pushes it to a good extent. I think the three with Kudus, Gibbs White, Hudson Doyle, I think Kudus, I think is having that. He's been alright, and I think especially with our players that we have got fit, I think Kudus is probably ahead of, and that right wing ahead of that and doing that. I think Gibbs White, I know it might be one that he might get booed, especially with what happened in the summer. But I think Gibbs White he makes that number 10 his own, and he's having a really good season. He's starting to pick up his form now, and I think he has that quality. And I think Hudson Doyle, like him on that left, he has got that quality. I know he is known for a one-trick pony. We all know what he does, but I think he's with that squad, both teams for the fit. I think he does own it, and I think with Charlington, I think no disrespect to Admiral Jesus and Jesus, because I think he has been immense, and I think with Charlington probably just push it in terms of like what he has done in the Premier League.
Okay. Dan, really, really appreciate it. My only question to you is, on the Spurs centre-backs, how close were they to getting in there, Romero and Van der Ven?
Oh, that's good. I was expecting this question actually to refer to Van de Pen and Pereira. I think pretty close. I think Van de Pen scored some goals for you this season already. And Pereira been alright. I think it's one of them ones, but I think if one of them would have been out injured, I think they would have got in with it. But I think it's a tough one because I think it's like that one with Charlton and Admiral Jesus. You could put either of them, and I think it's be quite a. They both got strengths and weaknesses, and I think them two centre halves. I think. I mean, if you asked me tomorrow, I could quite easily put one of them in there, but I think them two just nudges it quite a lot. I think if we're looking for an also in centre half, I think Van de Ven actually had that.
Okay, thank you. Really, really appreciate it then. So thank you. That is Dan's first team then. So let's bring my one up now, and you'll find out in just a second. I mean, how similar they are, of course, being a Forest fan in yourself and a Tottenham fan being me. So, you'd expect some differences, but we always both try to be, as you can imagine, as unbiased as possible. But I'll bring up my team then, and this is of players that, again, like with Dan's, that are just fit and available right now. So I'm going to read out to you and talk you through it. Sells in goal. Porro right back, Spence left back, Romero and Van der Ven as the centre backs. Anderson and Gray in midfield. Then the three of Kudus, Simmons, Gibbs White, and Richarlison up top. So it is a mainly Spurs dominated team. I'll hold my hands up on that. And I would say, to any Forest fans listening, wait to my second team is really balanced for that one. But I think this is a reflection that Forest also do have key players out. Really key players out, in Chris Wood, for example, just to name a few back, while loads of players they are missing. So this is not a true reflection of the Forest squad, just of what is available and how they're playing right now. Goalkeeper decision then. I mean, I'm sure I'll be blasted for this because I've defended Vicario several times, but Sells, I think he's a really, really good goalkeeper. I think he is, not far away from those David Reyes, those Donnarummas. He's not quite there, and he might not ever get there, but he's not bad at all. I'd say Vicario is a decent Spurs goalkeeper. Sells is a really good goalkeeper. That's the way I view him. I honestly do. Fullbacks then is tough. Kane is out for Forest. That means I can't select him. Nico Williams is very versatile. He would have been a safe option. Could play right back and left back. Jed Spence, to me, has to be in there for the same reason. He plays right back and left back, and he's got a tiny little bit more defensively about him than Williams. That was my thinking behind the selection. And Porro's in there, of course, at Aina not being fit, and Porro I do like. I think gets too much hate amongst the Spurs fan base. I find it very difficult with the centre-back partnership. I'm one of those that believes that keep the duo you've got. So for me, it's either a double Forest duo or a double Spurs duo. Of course, you can do one or the other. That's the way I viewed it. Very, very difficult, Dan, if I'm being totally honest and transparent with you. If Murillo had maybe been fit in the last few games and I got to see him more, I'd go, you know what, you should be in there. So I think Murillo's really class. For me, it could have been Van der Ven and Murillo. Very close to putting Van der Ven and Murillo, but I felt also Romero, Tottenham captain, would be harsh. So that's where I was super, super tough, found it hard. And of course, it's the majority Spurs dominate back line. Midfield, I'm in total agreement with you. You gave me the idea, if I'm honest. Anderson and Gray. Yeah, Anderson's been exceptional for you guys. Gray's played, well, Gray's gone from a bench warmer to playing quite a few games at the moment. There were only 3 or 4 games to judge this on, but he could become a regular first team starter. If he doesn't, he'll still get more minutes than he did before as a bench warmer. So those 2 for me is really good because they can protect, but also can go forward. Anderson, do not doubt his ability going forward. You know, big clubs are in for him. There's no, Forest are a big club, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking like you hear the links to Bayern Munich, Manchester City, Arsenal. There's no secret that he's a great player. And of course, they're going to always be linked. Gray as well, I think, is exceptional and kind of seems the number 8 carrying the ball. The only problem with starting them 2, if we think logistically about it, is they're both probably 8s and do a similar job, but both very good players nonetheless. I mean, this is hypothetical, remember that. So I've cheated a little bit. I've cheated. I wanted to get Gibbs White and Xavi Simons in there. Of course, they are both number 10. So I had to push one of them out to the left-hand side. And I looked at the team and went Forest and Tottenham, I think, a week on the left-hand side. I think Hudson-Odoi is good. He's had a few good games, but generally in terms of consistency across the year, they're not Hudson-Odoi and Odebear for Tottenham, for example, to use both clubs players as an example, aren't of the level or consistency of a Gibbs White or Simons. Hopefully, in long term, that someone like a Simons as well can find that consistency. So, but Gibbs White on the left-hand side, I think could suit him a little bit more than Xavi Simons is my thinking. I think Gibbs White is that player that tends to prefer that left-hand side anyway. Not in terms of over the 10, but when he plays in the 10 where he drifts over. And Simons in that 10. So that means the 4-3 is Kudus, Simons, and Gibbs White. Kudus is a no-brainer for me. Again, Forest are really strong. Hutchinson's for me, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, has had a good few games, getting a lot of assists at the moment, which is really good to see. Big signing from Ipswich. Hasn't worked out so far, but like I said, they're better and getting assists. And do you know what? I'll be honest with you, Dan. I wanted to choose Ego Jesus, but the app wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me at all, which is incredibly frustrating. So forget that. It's actually Ego Jesus up top. He's been excellent for you. I really do. There's not disallowed goals where I've been offside. So there's actually a Forest player you can add to that and a Spurs player to take out, which I know it looks Spurs dominated, but in theory it's not quite as much. Have you got anything you want to say, Dan, about my team there?
I couldn't agree more with what you said about centre-half pairings. It's like you said about you can't take one out without the other. So I know we've both gone for our own centre-half, so I couldn't agree any more with that one. Like with Spence, I completely agree with you on that one, Mickey. I think he has got that bit more defensive thing with him, and has Nico more of a wing back. So I completely agree with you. And I know near enough Bar Simons, we near enough got the same Simons sort of front four, which I completely agree with you. I mean, with the players that are fit, you could have. There's a case for all of them, if I'm being honest with that, you could put in. And you could have a really good argument on Hudson doing, but you have with Simons, they didn't know what runs to it, and with Richarlison, you could quite easily put Richarlison for the more Premier League goals, where Adol Jesus offers that bit more something different. So I mean, there are really good cases for everyone in both of our teams.
Absolutely, fully agree with that. I think you put that across nicely. Dan, thank you. Let's go back to your other team then. So this is Dan's second team. I'm not saying, oh, well, look, everyone can choose 2 teams. No, how it works, as I explained earlier, is now this is the team that includes those injured players and suspended players. So Dan, talk us through your team.
So near enough, I would say Celtic in goal, and I got near enough 4 Forest back 4 with Aino, Milenkovic, Murillo, Williams. I got the same central 2 midfielders in Anderson, Gray. I got a back row on the right, Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi, then I got Richarlison up front. So, I mean, I know I spoke about majority of this team with, so obviously Sells is Sells. I put Ola in there, sort of Jed Spence, and I will say this now, it was a tough one for me because obviously, like I said about Spence, I got a lot of time, and I think he has got that quality about him, and he is showing it. But I think only he's just got that really good composure about him, and he can play. He is versatile as well, and obviously last season he has shown a lot of that experience and leadership with that back line. And he has got Spence has as well, but I mean, Aina got a shot and a half against him, and I think a fully fit Aina is on his day. It's just it can be absolutely unstoppable. Centre midfield too, Anderson Gray. I mean, didn't know she had that. Like I said earlier, them two can do the donkey work in there, and they both can defend, but they both can play football as well, and they both got really good horse work in there. Right, Shad that. Back row, I mean, we're not seeing the best off back row yet, but I mean, he's fast, he's trickery. It's like I want to say it's like Elander in terms of pace, but he got that really trickery about him and Poddle and that. I mean, it's a shame that we're not seeing it yet, to say the least. But I think when you get that one of games in there, I think he can. It will show that quality, and wow, we paid so much money for him. Guess what? Obviously, I think that one could have been like a tough one with Simmons and him, but I think, like I said about this, right, like he can play that number 10, he can play in that deeper role as well. But I think if we give him that versatility in that number 10, he can drop deep, he can pick a ball out as well. And yeah, I mean, he got that leadership in there as well. I mean, he's captain us loads now, and and I see why quite a lot of teams, including Spurs, wanted him right side that, because he offers so much to a team now, and it come of age from when he first came through at Wolves. Hudson Doyle, Richarlison. I mean, there was probably like a bit of a one where you could have an argument with Jesus coming in instead of Richarlison. I mean, it depends like what sort of way you want to play, and like with Callum as well. Like I could quite easily just be like, yeah, and Doyle could play. Yeah, you could put Simmons in, and you could change it all about. So it was quite a tough one. But when I looked at it, and I think Hudson Doyle on his stage, he can be unplayable, and with Richarlison, like he offers a lot, like Ardor Jesus. So yeah, I mean, it was tough ones in terms, especially in that forward line with both teams, that you could play either one, and yeah, it's a tough one to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just a two change, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, mainly on that right hand side. Aina for Spence,
right.
and Aina for Spence, and back for Kudus.
Dan, thank you. Let's do my team then. If we had everyone, well, I could pick everyone, I should say. And I'll tell you what, this is something that I found really tough. So again, I edit this bit out, Dan. I'm going to bring up the right one. He's getting stuck.
Okay.
Talking about 5 seconds.
Proper being temperamental.
Don't, honestly. Where is it? That's mine, isn't it? Right, I'm going to talk now. 3, 2, 1. So this is my team now with everyone that I could literally pick, and it's so tough because this team hasn't got players like Chris Wood. It hasn't got players like Kulusevski, Maddison, Solanke. I find it really, really tough. So the notable changes for me for this team from my previous one. Ola Aina coming in for Porro. That hurts as a Spurs fan. I think we've got to be real. Aina is a player that just hit a really high level for me. We talk about Forest getting in Europe. That was such a key part of it. How many times did he get goals or assists? And how good was he defensively? It just, you always thought, oh, he's going to kind of fall off a cliff, like from an FPL fantasy league point of view, where it's like, oh my God, how long can he keep these performances going? Everyone's like, yeah, it's right, it'll fall off. No, it didn't. It kept going. And that's real, kind of credit to Aina for, Nuno at the time for getting the best out of him. So that for me is the change that I've made. I don't believe there's anything else. I think I kept the whole team the same, which is interesting. So Forest player coming in, when I say more balance, and again, that Richarlison thing is wrong. He wouldn't let me. Igor Jesus up front, which means I would have had, well, I do have, I should say, 1, 2, 3, 5 Forest players. When I talk about a lot more balance, that's what I mean. Dan, have you got anything to say about my team? Anything you disagree with or want to pull me up on?
I mean, like I said, when we've done the fit one, you could quite easily say, like I said earlier, like you can't play one without the other centre half pairing. Like, say, I completely agree with you on that one. I think, like the Spence one with Nico, like you find good and bad in each of them as well. Like, so nothing more. And like you said about Aino, like you find another level, and when you got Pro and Aino, it's a tough one to be fair. I know it. I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, I completely what I said earlier with it all. Like you could have arguments on each one to be fair, but but yeah, I mean, it's pretty much. I do like that team.
Thank you, Dan. Really do appreciate it. And before we wrap up, then, can I get your thoughts and then your score prediction and scorers for the game on Sunday, Forest and Tottenham, the City Ground?
Oh, I think with it being down there, I think it makes life a bit more easy. I know we won both games last season against you guys, and I think it will be a lot more different games from last season. Obviously, especially with you guys having Thomas Frank in, not Ange, so that will be a massive change. I think Thomas Frank's always does one over us anyway. He seems tactically like quite good. I think obviously it's not his team yet, and we all know that it will need time to like really adjust and find his way. Like I've said on last week in the on your Premier League podcast, and I think that it will take time for him. But I think Sunday's game, I think if you guys come here, stop us playing, and just get the fans on the place back, I think it will be quite an easy game for you guys. Obviously, it'd be interesting to see what sort of reception Gizrat will get. Like I've said in the show from your guys, know with everything what I've gone off. I know we have touched on it in the past, so but I think that will be interesting to say at least that had that what sort of reception he will get. But I think if I was the looking thing I've always said as well, because obviously we played firstly against Utrecht, and yeah, fair enough, we brought most of them on our first team players towards then. I just hope that won't have a knock on effect, because last couple of games when we played after Europe, we seemed to lose. So but I'm just hoping that we managed it a lot more better and that the players can maintain the standard. So I think it will be interesting, but obviously I got to back Forest, and I think I'd want to say 2-1 Forest just for the fact of like I think you guys might probably will score, but I think with Adwell Jesus with him scoring at the minute, I think it will be it will give you guys a good test of whoever you do play centre halves. I think this fight might be up for it, knowing obviously with the game, and it's depending on how you guys try and keep Elliot Anderson quiet as well. Because I think a lot of teams are starting to try and figure him out, but it just seems to like step up his levels every game. Like how much more can this lad produce and elevate his performances?
Doing well. He's doing really well. Dan, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure. Where can people find you and your Forest channel and podcast?
So basically, I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's Talk Forest TV. We cover quite a lot of ranges of things like the women's team, the B team, under 18s. Obviously, like I said earlier about YouTube, with what we do on there as well. So we cover a wide range of things on all the socials.
Good stuff, Dan. Thank you again for your time. Really appreciate it. And to anyone listening, thank you for listening via audio. It's your podcast platform. Drop us a follow and a 5-star review. Thank you as always. And on YouTube as well. Big up to you guys too. Please do subscribe. But for now, enjoy the game on Sunday, 2 p.m. kickoff, and a massive come on, you Spurs.
You came along just like a